The problem is you have a vehicle like this with an 8 HP transmission starting in approximately 2013. Almost every BMW produced has this transmission. Coming into a shop and you have to get it off the tow truck, and you can't because you can't get it out of park. Now, there's other ways like using a go jack, but they're not very effective if there's any little terrain change, even coming off the back of the tow truck, or if there is a rolling gate or a little tiny step up coming into the shop, it can be very difficult. And if you're in a parking garage, you can certainly forget about it. On the previous models, like this E46, you can manually lift up the shifter cover, and with the BMW screwdriver, lift up the tab and manually shift it out of park. Or on this E65 7 Series, they have supplied a little location underneath the dash like this, where you can insert the key, turn it, open up, and pull a release lever, and that brings it out of park. Or on this E70 X5, where they have a tool located here in the back that you can take out, go into the vehicle, access a release mechanism to this cover in the cup holder. After it's removed, you can insert it in, twist it, and that takes it out of park. However, on this vehicle with the newer 8 HP transmission, that is not an option. So you are in a situation where you have to crawl underneath the vehicle where the park release lever is located, and either pry on it with a pair of pliers, and or if you have a hook tool or something of this manner, pull on the lever. And when the vehicle is at an angle on a tow truck, that is a very dangerous thing. And if you are a tow truck driver, a tow truck owner, a guy that works on BMWs primarily, and or a shop owner, you want to have this tool to be able to safely disengage it without having to be underneath the car. That can be a very dangerous and bad situation. Imagine you're under the car with a pair of pliers or a hook like this, and the vehicle does this. That could be pretty dangerous, right? The solution is the AGA 8 HP Park Release Tool. The 8 HP release tool allows you to install it onto the transmission after removing the under panel and getting in the car where you're out of harm's way and safely seated before you release. You can now bring the vehicle down controlled and easily like this without anybody being in harm's way. In a situation like this inside of a parking garage with low overhead clearance, there's no chance of getting a tow truck in here, and go jacks certainly would not work getting the car all the way out and down the ramp. So at least here you can drop the under panel, install the tool, and push the car out. So after the tool is on, simply squeeze the lever, bring it into neutral, and we can push the car out of the stall. And if the car starts to get away from you, simply squeeze the lever, push the release lever, and let go. And this allows you to control the vehicle sitting in it with the brake on while going down the ramp. Now that we're down here with the car and we have the high ceiling height, we can actually load the car onto the tow truck, where upstairs there was no chance. Let me show you how this tool works. We're talking about a newer vehicle with an 8 HP that has a lever like this, starting in approximately 2013. Not to be mistaken for the earlier lever that looks like this, that has a screw from the bottom that you turn up in order to bring it into park. And when I say approximately starting in 2013, that is because, as an example, this X4 2016 model still uses the old lever, so it will vary. And while we're just finishing up on that old lever style, one very important thing to know is it has a very shallow 5mm drive that is easy to round out. This is a clean California car, but if it's an East Coast car with rust and salt on the road, be super careful not to round that out, and never, never be underneath the car without having it secured with chucks secured under the wheels, because the vehicle will roll as soon as that lever disengages. But enough about this old style lever. Now on to this 8 HP new style lever. The kit comes with a release mechanism that connects to the transmission magnetically, a release handle that operates by a cable, a long lever that is primarily used for 4-wheel drive cars, and a short lever that's used for 2-wheel drive cars. It also comes with the wheel chucks that store nicely in the kit like this, so everything is kept all together. In order to use the park release tool, you must first take off the belly pans. I like to use a electric ratchet or screw gun like this, or whatever you have. First, we're going to remove the under panel here attached with between 8 and 16 fasteners, depending on the model. And that comes out like that. And then next, there is on this model, a metal heat shield that's held on with 2 10mm fasteners. And that looks like this on this guy. Of course, out here on a nice sunny day, nice and clean, this is very easy. If you're stuck in snow or in a ditch or mud or whatever, it may not be feasible, but at least you can use the tool on the receiving end, getting off a tow truck and into the dealership, and make it much safer in that application. If you have a vehicle that's not high off the ground like this, like for instance a 3 Series G30 really low to the ground, and you decide to elevate the vehicle with a floor jack or something like that, be really careful. There is a safety precaution that you must take. When you're jacking up the vehicle like this, because of the open differential, as soon as that tire leaves the ground, the vehicle will roll and the jack will tip right off. So make sure you use the supplied wheel chucks. Install the supplied wheel chucks front and rear on the opposite side of where you're jacking up the vehicle. Do not attempt to jack the vehicle up on a slope greater than 5 degrees. The vehicle will simply roll over the wheel chucks just like shown here. Before we use the park release tool right here, let me show you in detail how it works. If they were all 2-wheel drive units like this, life would be easy. Grab the tool, put it on the studs, grab the lever, put it in the hole, engage the tube, squeeze the lever, and you're done. But life is not quite that easy. Let me show you some really up-close details that's going to make it a lot easier to install this tool if it is in a 4-wheel drive application where there is a drive shaft running right there blocking your view of the lever. So here with the 2-wheel drive unit, it's easy to install the magnetic release bracket right here with the forward part on the center bolt on the transmission pan. Next, we have the lever that we need to engage to the transmission release lever. On the back side of the lever, there is a post. It's designed to come up and make contact against the transmission release lever and then slide back and drop into the hole like that. Let me show you that one more time from the front side. Bring the lever up to where it makes contact with the transmission release lever, slide backwards and allow it to drop in. Bring the lever back and let it rest under the large washer on the release slide. Now push up on the relief slide so it hooks on to the arm. With the cable as straight as possible, pull the release lever to release the park. To get it back into park, push the release and let go of the handle. The transmission is now back in park. Here with the drive shaft installed, interfering with the view of the lever, install the magnetic release tool. You can also do that later if you prefer that. It's kind of a personal preference. Use this forward point right here as a reference. Come up with the lever until it makes contact to the transmission lever. Slides backwards until it drops in. Drop it in behind the washer on the slide and push up until it is engaged. Let me show you that from a front view. Here, one more time from the front with the drive shaft cross-sectioned so you can look in and see what's happening with the lever. Take the release lever, insert it up until the post on the back makes contact to the transmission lever, slide backwards, allow it to drop in, bring the lever back and set it into the release mechanism. Now push up until the two are connected. Now you can pull the lever and disengage park. Before you use the tool, there's a couple of things that you have to do. First, make sure that this lever is all the way in the return position. You do that by squeezing the release lever on the bottom, like that. Secondly, make sure that the slide on the release tool right here can travel all the way up to the bottom position freely without any interference. Squeezing on the tool like this, the lever must start moving on the second click like this. If it does not, adjust the cable here. Over time, the cable will stretch and adjustment will be needed. This particularly happens in the first 25 to 50 cycles. After that, the stretch has taken place and it stays pretty much like it is. The release lever must be straight, meaning this surface is parallel to this surface. Should it accidentally get bent, it can be straightened in a vise. Simply place one end of the lever into the vise like this and gently by hand tap it from side to side until the two planes are parallel. In the end, place it on a flat surface like this and verify that it's straight. If the lever is not straight, it can cause trouble binding or not allowing the slide to engage. So select the lever you need to use, straighten out the cable so it's as straight as possible, and get under the vehicle here. We're going to install the lever in alignment right here with the center bolt. This being a four-wheel drive vehicle with the drive shaft in the way, use the center bolt on the transmission as a reference. You can also see the little marks in the pan right there. Bring the lever up until the post on the back makes contact to the arm. Slide it to the rear and feel it drop in. Now the lever is engaged. Take the release tool and click it on to the transmission. Bring the lever around to the back. Push up until the lever engages like that. Now all there's left to do is come out from under the car, grab the release handle, route it to the window or door opening and into the car. Have your foot on the brake, have a hold of the steering wheel and pull the release lever. As soon as you pull the release lever, the car will roll. Some vehicles will automatically engage the parking brake. If that's the case, you must manually turn it off to move the vehicle. Once you're done using the tool, you must get under the car, undo the lever, and then take the magnetic release tool off the transmission. Do not pull on the cable. That will damage the cable and could potentially bend the lever. Also, should you accidentally damage the cable in the door jamb or from running it over, spare cables are available at AGA-Tools.com. For more information or to get your 8HP park release tool, go to AGA-Tools.com. Thank you for watching and please remember to subscribe.